Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and I'm here with two cat eyes and a youngin. Um, Hello, Myra J. How are you?
I'm serious. I'm, I'm very well, thank you.
You just kill you.
I
Uh,
know I do. I really do.
young Quinn, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I met Democracy in person last night. I met Stacey Abrams. So I'm really feeling engaged in terms of voter education. And I'm also feeling inspired as a Black woman right now. And I'm also still in class talking about gun violence. So
Oh
here
my gosh, you are all over the place, aren't you?
we emotional roller coaster right here. Yes.
For real, for real. Stephen Hill,
Mhm.
how are you?
My temperature's a bit too high, so I had to make it really cool. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good, girl. How you? How you, Sybil? How you?
I'm fine, thank you.
She loves
That's
Um,
us.
good.
She
That's
really does
good,
love
girl.
us.
I'm glad, girl. I'm
That
glad.
sounds like the guy from WNUA
I
95.
know, I know you fine, but how you feeling, Sybil? How you feeling?
I'm a little nauseated right now, but other than young Quinn, tell us about last night and meeting Stacey Abrams.
Yeah, so LMU has this intentional voter initiative called Election 2024, where they had a LMU student do not studied, but centralized articles, publications all about Gen Z and their voter apathy or voter empathy or just like whatever in regards to their voter temperature. And the closing speaker for that event was Stacey Abrams. And less than 2 weeks when I started my job, I got the email that she was coming, and I was supposed to, like keep a secret, as well as they wanted me to only choose like 3 students to like come and meet her. And I said, that's not possible. We have 12 Black registered student organizations, RSOs. So I need VIP passes for all 13 of those people. And I'm so glad that they complied, and our students was able to meet Stacey Abrams, was able to shake her hands. Everybody got free copies of her book, Our Time Is Now. And I want to ask you guys advice, because this is the 3rd time that I've cried around someone that's very, very impactful. And Stephen Hill knows when Jennifer Hudson was at Shantae's Moore show, I turned into a possum and just played dead. Like for some reason I couldn't breathe anymore. And she literally was looking at me like, are you all right? And so I feel like after meeting Stacey Abrams, Dr. Ruha Benjamin, even you 3, I need a better, like a cooler, smoother way to meet, celebrities besides just like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, okay, all right, let's take a picture. But I think what I'm going to remember the most about her is her refusal to accept or to at least perform whiteness. Because at my institution, all these students were lining up to take a picture, right? And you had like hundreds of like all these white students, white faculty and staff just getting individual pictures. But when it came to my students, they said, oh, you guys have to take a group picture. And they said, she's running out of time. She's running out of time. And Stacey was just like, we're not running out of time. All of you guys can get individual. Matter of fact, I'm going to sign your books. And all the students brought their books, and she took the time to sign each and every book. Each of us got our individual picture. And she said, you are the director. You're going to get your individual picture as well. Because I stood back and I want to make sure my students got one. So I think that's also what made me cry, because in that appeasing that I feel like, and that contorting and like that bending over that sometimes I've recognized I've been doing, in my director role at this white institution, it doesn't have to be that way. I can actually still be very audacious and tell, a white person, no, like regardless of how much time we have and everything else. So it just felt good to see a Black woman with her backbone in a white space that really doesn't want her to have one.
I have a question, Quinn. I have a question.
Yes.
Were you crying in the picture? This is all I want to know.
Yeah, by the way, are your eyes open?
No, they're closed.
But were there tears?
Yes.
Was it the ugly cry going on?
And was it stuff
during
coming
the
out
picture?
your nose too?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
But
It wasn't.
you can literally see like the redness, and I'm not looking forward to the university pictures because those are even better lens than my iPhone. And even there's a picture of me shaking her hand, and I sent it to my mom, and she was like, "Why are you standing so far away from her?" And I said, "'Cause I was nervous. I literally was just like, hello." And so I didn't want to get too close to her and her to literally feel my heartbeat like on my elbow.
Oh.
Like I was just like, oh my
Wow.
God. Like,
Wow.
this is crazy. But like, yeah, so
Okay.
That is pretty awesome, though.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
that's all the awesome.
Just
yeah.
very, that is nice. Very,
And I don't know
When
if you
you
guys know
and
that she wrote 8 romance novels.
yeah, that's how she.
Mhm.
Well, she became known as the state representative or state senator who was a romance writer.
Yeah,
And
I think that's very cool. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
so cool. Yeah.
that's how she spent her evenings while she was, dealing with all those crazy people in the Georgia
Yeah.
legislature.
Yes.
Right. So
Yes. Mm-hmm.
by the way, as we found out from the movie Black Panther, sometimes when you're correcting Caucasian people, they like it when you say, "Hold on, colonizer." They love it. They love it when you call them that. So that's the way you should go in.
Okay, I'm gonna try that tomorrow.
You just started working there. Let's.
I did. And this
you,
is a
you
perfect
like your
time.
job? You like your job?
I absolutely, it's on the list of blessings that I give to God daily because California is the West Coast. I really love it here, but LMU specifically, I feel so safe in my body there, and I have staff and faculty that recognize that. Like I've already gotten asked to teach a class here. I'm already getting tapped into like different restorative justice, transformative justice circles. There's lots of Pan-Africanism here. And so it just feels as if like I'm connected. My Blackness is stretched. My queerness is appreciated. Like I don't feel like I have to fit in. I am excited for the future. And I also know that I am collaborating still with like whiteness as an institution. And so I feel challenged, but I don't feel exhausted.
Okay.
There you
I
go.
just wanted to. I asked that
Nice,
because I don't
nice.
want you to let him block your blessings.
Oh no, I'm trying to figure out a way
Kwyn,
that you can bring
Kwyn
this to
understands what
LMU.
it's.
Okay.
Quinn understands what's a joke and what's not a joke. That's for sure.
No, I'm not sure always that
So that is
yes,
sometimes the autism stick in. You're right. Yeah, yeah.
just saying. Let's move to the What You Need to Know newsletter, where Kwyn is our LGBTQIA plus contributor. And in today's newsletter, she wrote about the link between anti-trans legislation and the escalating number of suicides, which is it's not your, it's not your happy, gay story, but it is one that does need recognition in terms
Mhm.
of the link between the way people are treated and the way that they are sadly ending their lives.
Yes, and I think the celebration is that this is the first peer-reviewed journal of how, like statistically and empirical data, how the anti-trans laws are actually affecting our youth in real time. They have started this study, the Trevor Project. If you guys aren't aware, the Trevor Project, who actually has the first Black non-binary CEO, come to find out, by the name of James Black. They are really, really cool. Is the leading suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning young people. And so they have been gathering data, focusing on ages between 13 and 17, all the way back since 2018 up until 2022. And in that time span, 48 anti-transgender laws were enacted in the United States across 19 different states. And the sample size they looked at was 61,240 young people in the United States. And they looked at how the rate of attempted suicides in the previous year changed for residents of those states after those laws were passed. And those laws include not allowing students to participate in sports that match their gender identity, and includes laws focusing on just like hormonal care, making sure they have access to gender affirming care. And it also includes laws that look like not letting, students use the bathroom. And I've talked about different studies and like different youth that have been impacted by all of those things. But I think that is really not cool, but a really good empirical data note is that they were able to conclude that the likelihood of a past year suicide attempt for a youth is 72% higher than it was before the passage. And so when we think about mental health, but also like our young people, again, this is 13 through 17 trans youth. And they also broke it down by race and ethnicity, that how this disproportionately affects youth of color because of the compounding intersections of being Black and being trans, or being Black and being queer, being Black and being lesbian, being Black and gay. And I like this quote that they said that it is without question that anti-transgender policies and the dangerous rhetoric surrounding them take a measurable toll on the health and safety of transgender and non-binary young people around the country. And the youth of color, particularly like that pocket of that 61,000, actually reported the highest number of suicide attempts between 2018 and 2022. And again, this is across 19 different states that have enacted these 48 anti-transgender laws. And so this journal is found in the Nature Human Behavior, but it's also on the Trevor Project website. If you guys really want to break down the statistics that they wrote, but it's a beautiful, comprehensive article. And I think now when we keep talking about, hey, be careful of mental health, be careful of words, like these things matter, there's actually real data to go ahead and actually accompany it. So people can't say we're just pulling it up, imagining it. This is real. These are real lives. These are real people that deserve to be here.
And in this article, did they talk about the next steps?
They didn't say the next steps in regards to mental health prevention outside of not enacting these laws. But the Trevor Project, they do have a whole list of resources outside of, just like the National Suicide Lifeline, but just like resources for parents of trans youth. Like, what does it look like having that conversation with your youth, with your young person when they want to change their gender identity? What does it look like if you are a cousin, if you are a best friend, if you are dating someone that's trans? So all of those questions, which are good things, I need people to know that curiosity is a great thing. Like, they have that, and you could go to the website to actually utilize those resources for free.
Wow. I just think that there's so much work that needs to be done on both our parts, as adults and as young people, and those all in between too, and no matter what their sexual orientation. That just really saddens me, that they aren't getting that kind of help that they deserve. So we have you.
And I have you.
Amongst the other, I'm sorry, Myra, Stephen Hill, did either you want to make a comment?
There's no comment to make other than that is sad, and it's 72%. I'm somewhat of a data freak sometimes, but there's if that's the correlation, that is an undeniable correlation. But take the data out of it. Take it. I mean, just imagine how you would feel if you're on the edge anyhow, and then the government says that you are. I'm into this word today because invalid. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Gattaca, but it's a brilliant movie with Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman. And it basically talks about if you don't have these right characteristics, you're an invalid. And what sometimes states are literally saying is that, like, if you're trans, you're invalid. And so imagine if you're on the edge, what that does to your psyche. So it's an unfortunate stat. It's an unfortunately understandable stat. And hopefully that, hopefully this will turn around and states will stop doing this, and there'll be more people. Vote in trans legislators. Vote for trans folks in your local elections, and so soon there'll be national elections, and so this can turn around.
Yeah, and I want to add that Stacey Abrams added to like what Stephen Hill said, how this is also a generation that has literally seen their civil rights taken away from them in real time. And so when we talk about bodily autonomy, that includes gender affirming care. Like, this actually includes, like, these laws actually affect all of us. And I know a lot of times people are just like, oh, well, the right to body, people usually think women, but the right to body also is applied to gender expansive folks. So if trans folks, if queer folks are not able to actually do what they want to their body, best believe that they're not actually allowing women to do what we want to do to our body either. So we have to actually be more widened in our lens of justice, and also widen in our fight.
Wow, sounds like you're working on a paper there.
And furthermore,
And thus, in conclusion,
one of the other things that we have in our newsletter once a week is the Black and Missing section. This is our effort in cohort with the Black and Missing Foundation to talk about those who are Black and who are missing. And today, the feature is of Catherine Blake Stone. She's been missing from Kansas City, Missouri since July 31st. The 27-year-old woman is described as 5 feet 3 inches tall, 125 pounds, medium brown complexion, brown eyes, and medium length hair. Take a look at her picture in our What You Need to Know newsletter. And if she looks familiar, maybe you've seen her around that date, the end of July, beginning of August. Please go to the Black and Missing Foundation website and give them whatever information you have. We had one of the co-founders of the Black and Missing Foundation on last week, Derica Wilson, and talking about this effort and also helping people understand that there are ways to publicize a missing person in your community, how the police like to have the flyers, what gets the attention at a greater rate, things like that. And it's all in this one compendium of things in where you are in the country, and in an effort to help people not only put the information out faster, but also to do it in a more complete basis, so that you don't just kind of you put your flyers out from what you go to, I hate to say this, FedEx, but you do that, and then the flyers just lay dormant because it's not what follows the uniform need for the authorities in your town. So take a look at that, please, and thank you.
Is compendium another word for article?
Compendium is a collection.
Y'all so smart. You just taught me something today. I'm gonna take that down in my notes.
So I did want to move on to the what's really going on section, but I didn't want to leave behind some of the things that we talked about in the newsletter. And my day yesterday was filled with watching the war in Israel. And I'm just wondering if it is having the kind of effect on me that it's having on you as well. Just the fact that the numbers are just so disturbing as we come up on the 1-year anniversary of the attack of Israel by Hamas. 40 to 50,000 people have died in this year, less than a year now, October 7th. And to see that, how Israel is like, well, what you gonna do? They go in with their guided missiles and they kill people. And when the Iranians are trying to, come back at them, and I'm not taking sides in terms of Iran and Israel, but it's just amazing just to watch war in real time. It blows my mind that we're able to do this. And I was wondering if anyone else was affected by this, and just how the terrorism that people step off of trains with guns and blow people away in terrorist acts, and a mother and her 9-month-old child, one of the set of victims killed in this terror act that was brought upon by Hezbollah, they believe.
I turned from the news yesterday purposely because I know what triggers me into depression, and for me it's just a very sad situation. And Marvin Gaye said it, war is hell.
Mm-hmm.
It is truly hell, and you just want it to end at some point. But I feel you when you say, okay, I'm not defending what they did yesterday, but it's like, you're bombing them. You're sending missiles over there.
Yeah.
They're a terrorist organization. Did you think that they were going to go get a pedicure? I mean,
right.
Seriously.
And just have a cigarette and say, well,
like
we did it. What you gonna do?
Oh, well, they bombed us. So
they did it again.
Yes.
Stephen Hill.
Really? So I don't retract not a moment of what I've said since October 8th here is that Israel's not going to stop. The thing that scares me now is going to Lebanon is one thing, going to Gaza is one thing. Going into a nuclear capable Iran is now a complete giant step up or escalation, right? And so that scares me. With the knowledge that Israel's last, so let's go back. And I'm gonna mess it up, but Israel sent something into Iran or blew up a Hezbollah person. Blew a Hezbollah Hamas person in Iran. Right. Iran sent back some missiles and said, "Don't mess with us again." Israel sent back a few missiles and took out missile defense systems around Iran's nuclear capability. Right? Knowing full well Iran was going to fire back. So no one should be surprised. No one should be surprised if Israel's next missiles head towards Iran's nuclear capabilities and if there's some kind of nuclear fallout. So this is the part where it gets very, very, very scary. Netanyahu's going to try to do everything he can to erase any neighbor who wants to get rid of his people. I'm not saying I agree with that. I need you to understand that if you lived in Rhode Island and Connecticut and Massachusetts wanted you dead and you were superior power, how you might act in that situation. Right?
And that's bringing it down to a level that people can understand too when you talk about those states and where you are. Yeah.
And that's about how big things are, right? Right? Israel is probably not as big as Rhode Island.
Right.
And Connecticut and Massachusetts, who surround it, hate you, want you to die. Like not just like we don't have that kind of experience here in America. We just don't have it, right? And so, but imagine, I mean, just to bring it down to your house, if your neighbor to the right and your neighbor to the left, and the person across the yard, like literally would say, "I'm going to sneak into your house and kill you," what might you do? Just you got to think it on that level. So that's why I'm saying Netanyahu's trying to work for 50 years from now. He's trying to make sure that your grandchildren have none of this to worry about.
Right. Absolutely. Let's take this to a lighter level in our What's Really Going On segment, the question of the day. We're continuing our celebration of the theme of joy in this week's Yogi's Jewels. So with apologies to our friend Anita Baker, what brings you all joy?
With apologies.
What brings you joy? Or how do you find joy? How do you exhibit joy? What is it an activity? Is it a person? Is it or it could be all of the above? Are you looking for joy, Myra?
Yes, I am. I'm like, okay, that was a great transition. So I'm going from bombing in Israel to joy.
Well, this was my question originally, but I felt we really needed to get there in terms of thinking about what the future holds for and not only the people in the Middle East, but our people who are soldiers and go in diplomatic corps.
Other than Thai food, people who know me know Thai food, but actually, I love seeing people laugh, which is probably why I do what I do. But people say, "Oh, you are so silly." Yes, I am. But what people don't understand, when I make you laugh, I feel that back. Yeah. So, yeah.
And when you laugh at people, do you think that brings them joy, or you just make fun of us?
It's like I lighten up. It was funny.
Get over yourself.
I'm sitting over there being all serious.
All right. Young Kwyn, what about you? What brings you joy?
Today is definitely the sun and water. Taking the time out to actually feel something, like on my face and the privilege that I have to actually have air in my lungs. And I will say in regards to, because I know we're coming up on a year of the genocide happening in Palestine, and also just want to uplift those in the Democratic Republic of Congo, as well as those in Sudan who have fallen victim to our imperialism. And I want to echo what Dr. Benjamin said when she came and talked about her book, Imagination and Manifesto, how hope is not only a discipline, but it is our ancestral intelligence that is feeding our level of optimism, because we have ancestors that saw nothing but enslavement, that saw nothing but rape, that saw nothing but murder, that saw nothing but inferiority and low self-esteem and depression and all of these things. And one of them, a few of them, decided to wake up and be like, actually, there's something more than this. And I think that fight, I think that pull, I think that audacity is actually within our bloodline as Black people. And I think it is very, it is not only false, but it is rude to deny myself that level of a fight. Like, I have to be obedient to what my ancestors did. And she had asked this question because, you know, everybody's like, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. But she asked us, are you your descendants' wildest dreams? To these young people who are like 20 something. And so it removes the ego from the work. And it also makes you look at, dang, what type of war am I fighting for that's coming up behind me? And so I just challenge folks to go ahead and think about that in regards to your joy. Like, your joy is your act of resistance. Like, your joy is your fight. So don't only just, like, you know, Myra, you can turn off the news, but go ahead and dance too. Get your drink on. I got.
Oh, girl, you got to come over here sometime. That's never a problem. We call that Tuesday. Okay.
And Wednesday and Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
It's so medicinal. Like, this is very medicinal. So I hope people, you know, take pride in that and whatever you have to do right now, because things are heavy. And it's the goal of whiteness to go ahead and flatten you. And I don't want anybody to be flattened, you know. So yeah.
Stephen Hill, I'm coming to you next, but I did find out something that you all share a common town in your lineage. Myra, yesterday, Kwyn's big brother, Cameron, was talking about his people being from Belzoni.
Oh, yeah.
Shut your face.
Wait, who's from Belzoni?
My father's side of the family is from Belzoni. Girl, we gonna talk for real.
Oh my gosh.
Is Belzoni that small? Is it that small?
Yes,
I mean, it sounds pretty small unless it's in Italy.
Belzoni, Mississippi.
This
All
guy.
right, good.
This guy right here. You just want to be from Belzoni, Stephen. It's okay. You can...
It's true. It's true.
So, Stephen Hill, what brings you joy?
It's funny. It is related to Kwyn's active resistance, because my joy often thinks I practice active resistance. So this is my joy right here. This right here is my joy.
Harder.
I need more joy.
Active resistance.
Yes, slap that joy.
My joy is
slap that joy. Slap it around.
My joy is established. My joy is established. Sure.
That's awesome.
That's a simple answer.
And would she say the same?
Well, unfortunately, she can't hear right now, so I'm going to go with you. Unfortunately, she is unable to respond right now. She's gone back off into.
Joy is off duty right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's open it up, Yolanda, and ask the people. We had this question earlier this week, and I did want to return to it because so many other things have happened this week, and did want people to chime in. What brings you joy? How do you find your joy? Where do you find your joy? That kind of thing. But staying on the theme of Yogi's Jewels this week. Shirley Ann Tony Davis. Oh, on Facebook. Oh, you're so dear. Sybil, you've always brought me joy with spreading your knowledge with others. Oh, that's very nice. It's very, very. Shirley, I owe you.
Period.
Remember that. Denise Cuffey on Facebook. Eating and healing right. I made my doctor happy today. So much joy today. Good for you.
Love that.
Good for you. That's awesome. Making your doctor happy. Rose McCall on Facebook. What brings me joy is when I'm out with my 3 children and all 10 of my grandchildren. Wow. That's a lot of joy there.
Yeah. My grandma's birthday is next week. So family always brings me joy too. Yeah.
And Cameron said she's going to be 82.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. We were giving shout outs to our elders yesterday. Ivy Lee on Facebook. My daughter brings me so much joy. Oh,
I love that.
Nice. And we could all say that about our children. That is great.
Yes.
Not all of us can make that claim, but that is really nice that you're. Stephen, how's your faithful ward? Speaking of,
He is a typical 19-year-old, not really going to the library like he should, and overdrawn on his account.
okay, yeah,
Eh,
yeah,
I love him. I love him.
that
So,
brings you.
yep,
Yeah,
that's 19.
that's not. Hey, 19.
He is going to bring me joy.
Yes.
No, he indeed brings me joy.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I think that we don't talk about it enough, and I think that just talking about it and actually trying to decipher. Today I'm going to do what to bring myself joy. And Myra, it could be getting up on stage tonight. It could be or when you're performing with George and the comics for Kamala or something like that, or just standing in the line at the grocery store and making people laugh.
Oh, yep. And many people mention music. I absolutely love music. I don't care how bad, how depressed I have felt going to bed at night. I have never woke up in the morning and felt bad. Never, ever, ever, not one time. Never.
Wow.
So when I get up in the morning, it's a new day. It's a new chance. And if I put on some Frankie Beverly and turn it up loud, the whole damn block gonna feel joy.
Oh, that's awesome.
I want to go to there. Oh my God. I want to go to there. That's story for another time, but like mornings are my absolute worst times. I'm a pretty optimistic person. Mornings are another time. I know Yolanda's another time. However, if you'd like to bring me joy, Yolanda, if you'd like to bring me joy right now, please post Karen Allen from YouTube's thing that brings her joy. Because I would like to make this all around. Yes.
On YouTube, a room with an ocean
yes,
view.
Karen, yes.
A room with an ocean view and the ability to walk on the beach. Do you hear that? Do you hear that other person that brings me joy?
Yes.
Do you hear that?
Yes.
Okay,
thanks. Appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely.
But that does me too. It's something about the water. It really does.
The water is very, very calming.
And I was thinking that when Kwyn said that, how fortunate are you that you've got the sun and the water every day. That's pretty awesome. That's
when I first came to LA, I was like, I don't know how somebody could actually have a heart attack out here. This doesn't make sense. You literally
I love it. I love it.
It's just right there. I literally if I get frustrated in my office, I just turn around.
Oh, and you got an office where you can look out. You got windows.
Yes. In Virginia, I didn't have one. In my other jobs, I never actually had like a really nice, not even just beautiful campus, but like a window. And that's just so nutritional to like the work-life balance, is being able to go outside and like walk for 2 to 5 minutes.
That is my guilty pleasure, to go to an island or go anywhere with an ocean view. I will shut it down. Somebody may not get paid, because if I need it, I need it.
Yeah.
Without question.
That's a great way to look at it. Yolanda, what did Renita say? Renita Bland on Facebook, feeling carefree on vacation with a nice cocktail near the water.
Yes.
Doesn't have to have an umbrella in it at all. Just a nice. One of my text chains. I'm sorry, you can go with Janet Ferguson, Yolanda. Also, music and dancing. There you go, Myra. I'm an old school woman. Put that on, and I'm all in.
Yeah.
All right, Mama. All right, Janet Ferguson. One of our text chains is with our people in our yoga group, and she had a bowl full of limes, like off of her tree. And I was like, is there a tall glass with vodka and tonic behind that? Because that just looks like the perfect combination. Not that the alcohol brings me joy, but it just looks so delicious. Just so
but joy somehow seems to find me when I have a drink. I wasn't looking for joy, but damn it, I'm happy all of a sudden.
Not so much joy, but I'm really happy. Brenda Ralph Brooks Perry, today I spent time with God in prayer, she said on YouTube. Reflecting on his presence in my life, past and present, I have joy knowing I am his purpose. Ooh.
Amen.
Nice.
There you go.
Amen is right. Yeah.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you all. Thank you.
say joy is
Yolanda-
also in love too. I have a date this weekend too. So
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what?
yeah.
How we get 36 minutes in the show and this is coming up now? Because we got to spend the next 24 minutes talking about
Somehow
it.
we buried
We
the
don't.
lead.
Once again.
I wanted to drop it because Yolanda and Sybil, and of course you Myra and Steven, you guys do bring me so much joy, but I wanted to drop it so y'all can also alert your friends that I am officially outside. So if you have anybody that is eligible, please let them know. I live off of Hollywood Boulevard, and I would love to go for a walk.
Oh, that is so cute.
Wait, top
Hang
three.
on,
So
hang
the
on.
next topic.
I'm not listening to Yolanda. I'm not listening to Yolanda this time.
No,
I'm sorry.
you have to.
I listen to you, Sybil.
So thank you for bringing us joy with that announcement. And so now we'll go to trending. And Kwyn, you're on.
Oh.
Yeah, Kwyn. I once have to say, Kwyn, that was some bull. That was some bull waiting to that moment till knowing Yolanda was going to cut it off. But I'm gonna lean back right now.
I really thought that I said it at the right time.
Bull. All right.
I met this person on a dating app. You had to download the app to go get a free drink. I just wanted the free drink. I wasn't even
Sure
looking.
you did.
And so I matched with this person and we were communicating and I told them, where I was. And this is when I first moved here because I was just I just want to do something spontaneous. I'm in, LA. And I told them where I was in regards to the hurt that I was feeling out of my relationship. And then we just been talking since July. And then they finally said, well, not even they finally, we both are finally available. And so Saturday, all they told me was Saturday, be ready at 7 p.m. And they didn't tell me any other details. So I'm going on my first date since being in a 3-year relationship. And I'm nervous and I'm excited, but I don't feel desperate. And I feel very just excited to have fun. I'm not really looking for anything.
Oh, that is so awesome. Good for you, young Kwyn.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so Sunday morning, we'll all be together and we'll have a...
literally for our simple comments, I was it's literally going to be...
Our call is going to be much longer on Sunday. Trust and believe. Okay, and then what did you do? And then what? Okay, yeah.
Yes, I will spill all the tea.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna text my questions.
Okay, as long as you do not call me that night.
Oh no, we old folks, we don't do that.
Oh, that's right. Or
we wait till the morning.
And follow me through on this. If we don't pick it up.
Okay, how about that? Is that an emergency? Oh no.
just send me a smiling face emoji the next day. That ends it all.
Okay. With the sunshine and some water and a nice beverage.
Here's another word for you, Kwyn. Right now, Yolanda is apoplectic.
What is apoplectic?
Going crazy.
Myra, speaking of laughter, you're participating in Comics for Kamala coming up in Atlanta soon, are you not?
Yes, that'll be next Friday, October 11th with George Wallace and friends. Don D.C. Curry, other comics, I can't think of their names right now, but just added Jennifer Holliday.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that she was a comedian, but that's very cool.
Well, apparently she's going to sing us a funny song. No.
Okay. Very good. That's awesome.
Is that, and I'm telling you, I'm not going because she didn't actually leave, or?
And I'm telling you, I'm right back where I started from.
That's at the Uptown in Atlanta next Friday, October 11th. Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Oh,
so
yeah, October 11th.
check. What is that? 3 days after?
Is
that
October 11th?
Yeah.
What's 3 days after?
Isn't your birthday the 8th?
My birthday's November 8th. October 11th.
Oh, November 8th.
Weekend.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right.
Election time. I don't know what that noise
3 days after the election.
After election.
Mm-hmm.
The storm Helene swept through Florida, traveled north, causing damage as far north as Tennessee and Virginia, and at least at this point, 179 people have been confirmed as casualties. Today, Vice President Kamala Harris praised the workers straining to meet the needs of people who must be seen and must be heard, and as she and President Joe Biden surveyed the paths of destruction in separate visits to Georgia and to the Carolinas. She in Georgia, he in the Carolinas. The president flew over toppled trees, twisted metal, and towering piles of debris in the normally tourist-friendly town of Asheville, North Carolina, which has suffered just tremendous devastation. He took an aerial tour of some of the hardest hit parts of North Carolina, and nearly 200 miles to the south in Georgia, the vice president was in Augusta, where fallen trees littered the sides of the highway. Their trunks cracked like matchsticks, was the description there. She said, I've been reading and hearing about the work you've been doing over the last few days, and I think it really does represent some of the best of what we each know can be done, especially when we coordinate around local, state, and federal resources to meet the needs of people who must be seen, who must be heard. She said, I am now listening. Many highways in the hardest hit areas of North Carolina remained inaccessible, but the president, as I said, was able to fly over. He was in Marine One, his helicopter, and saw the flooded roads, the piles of shredded lumber and displaced sandbags, emergency trucks, and downed power lines. And in one area, homes were partly underwater still. It was hard to distinguish between lake and land, they say, in those areas. Now, they're going to switch places. He's going to go to Georgia and Florida tomorrow, and she will be in the Carolinas, she being the vice president.
Here's my question. Is North Carolina a swing state?
Yes.
Then I'm going to tell you what's about to happen. I'm going to tell you what's about to happen. And when it does, I want you to go like, oh, shoot, he told me it was going to happen. So 2005, Katrina, we all made fun of Bush because Bush did not land in Louisiana.
Right.
Right? He didn't land in Louisiana. How did Trump get to be on the boots on the ground in North Carolina the other day? I don't know. But I guarantee you there's about to be a spot that comes out. There's going to be a TV commercial that comes out, talks about how Trump was boots on the ground in North Carolina and Biden flew over North Carolina. It's coming. I understand it's because the roads are so impacted that you can't get a presidential motorcade through that. But that's a little bit too much information for a lot of voters. So when that commercial comes out,
you heard it here first.
You heard it first.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's going to be interesting to see how that does play out because historically North Carolina has been a Republican state. That's what the state is. That Strom Thurmond? Is that South or North Carolina?
South Carolina. I think it's South. I think Strom was South, right?
That's what I want to say. Yeah. But it is a historically a Republican state. It has swung from red to blue. Now it's more purplish. And with this governor's race, as well as the presidential race, it's going to be interesting to see how they land come November 5th in the state of North Carolina. Special counsel Jack Smith's team argued in a filing today that revealed new details of the scheme at the heart of Donald Trump's federal election interference case. He stated the former president was fundamentally acting as a private candidate for office and not as president of the United States when he sought to overturn his 2020 election loss. And my girl, Judge Tanya Chutkin, unsealed the 165-page filing today after the special counsel submitted the document in which he lays out his case and alleged evidence he intends to use in an eventual trial against Donald Trump. Prosecutors said the former president is not entitled to immunity from prosecution. And so it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out and when it plays out. Obviously, it's not going to happen before November.
After the election.
Yeah.
After the election.
Yeah. Did you all watch the vice presidential debate? Myra and I were talking about this before the show. And anybody watch the vice presidential?
No, I was at the event. I'm really sorry. I should have watched it.
I fell asleep twice.
You were with a presidential candidate. Okay. So you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
All right.
I did watch it, and it was a difficult situation for me to hold my attention, for it to hold my attention. But I just like Tim Walz. I like him, and I think of Chris Farley every time I see him. I don't know why, but he just has.
I think it's because he lives in a van down by the river.
But he was not at his best last night, and admittedly, he told his handlers that he's not a debate kind of guy, and he proved that last night. But he had moments.
Yeah,
he had moments, and you had to wait till almost the very end for those moments for him to shine. That's damnably not true. It's like
Right.
that's a damning statement that's not true. Yeah, he was.
I did hear that he complained that he got fact checked. I thought you said there was no fact checking.
I was told there'd be no fact
I
checking.
was told there'd be no fact checking.
Which is your
The Easter
nervous.
Bunny told me.
Yes, he did say that.
But I think that he could have been coached better. But he did come out. He didn't come out like the presidential candidate did, and neither did J.D. Vance. And people were really a little surprised that his legal skills didn't come.
Somebody labeled J.D. Vance last night as the smooth criminal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he's a better public speaker, but that doesn't mean because he speaks well doesn't mean he speaks the truth.
Right.
And
he does have a forked tongue.
Yes, and Waltz does. He has this awkwardness though, but it comes across as genuine.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I think Vance's goal was to come across as not crazy,
not weird.
And from all reports, I believe that was very much accomplished, right?
Yeah.
He did not come across as the person who actually said, they're eating dogs and cats, right?
right.
Right. He came across as someone who could, if it had to be, step in and be presidential. And I think that's dangerous. Somebody said they don't think that changed much and may not, but I think for people who were like, oh, no, not Trump, Vance could have gone give them a little sigh of relief that is scary to me.
42% of debate watchers said that J.D. Vance won the debate. 41% thought that Governor Waltz emerged as the winner, and 17% called the debate a tie. I would not call it a tie, especially at the end where he could not say who won 2020 presidential race. And the fact that, and as what Governor Waltz pointed out, you wouldn't be here if there wasn't a fight against democracy in January of 2021. There would be another guy who was in your spot before who would be here. But because of that and what happened and the lack of democracy that they tried to do away with, and I thought that was very good. And so we'll see what happens. But nobody's ever won a vice presidential debate, and it's made a big difference in the presidential.
Right. Shameless plug. Shameless plug. If you have, and I have nothing to do with this, so that's the wrong term. Shameless plug. Stopping the Steal on HBO is a wonderful documentary about what went on in the 2020 election, after the election, and how Trump really tried to steal the election, and all of you just love documentaries that something happens and you get to talk to all the people in Arizona and Georgia is what they focus on,
right?
Because that's what they focused on, and the number of people who do not care about democracy in this country is appalling.
It's frightening.
We have built a cult of personality, a cult of celebrity that is. I think that movie mixed with The Apprentice, which is about to come out, which is about
the making of
right. And there's a New York Times article about The Apprentice, and how the producers there were complicit with making Donald Trump seem like a success that he wasn't, and that's what helped him get the presidency. Are three things you should check out, and encourage your Trump-loving friends to check out.
Thank you for those suggestions. California, Kwyn, I don't know if you've heard this, is banning Doritos, Mountain Dew, Cheetos, and other colorful snacks from the schools.
What state?
California.
In elementary and high school, or
in the school, the public schools.
She's like, well, what about the universities? She had the look of shock on her face when you said Doritos.
I don't go to school.
Like she was about to run out and buy some right now.
No, because we have snacks in our offices, and I was like, am I smuggling? Like, wait a minute, like, is this illegal? Like contraband? Like, wait.
Some of the most popular lunchroom snacks of your childhood are set to be banned from California lunchrooms and become a lot less colorful. That includes the Doritos, the Mountain Dew, the M&Ms, the Flamin' Hot Cheetos, the Fruit Loops, the Gatorade, the Kool-Aid, the Starburst, the Skittles, and more. Critics say the variety of the artificial color additives have been linked to developmental and behavioral problems in kids. And the law puts food manufacturers on notice. They have until the end of 2027 to purge the offending ingredients from their products, which include dyes like red number 40, yellow number 6, yellow number 5, blue number 2, blue number 1, and green number 3. Sounds like I'm, wait to say hike.
Or playing Twister.
Right.
Wow.
The only thing I didn't say right foot, right? But yeah, so be careful because it could affect your developmental ability.
No, they've been talking about that all over social media lately, and I saw somebody do a response like while they're eating hot chips, it's like a bag of red 40 chips hates to see me coming because like hot chips with like in Chicago the walk-in tacos with like taco meat and cheese like that is it is a cultural icon. But I also did hear in California, and I don't know if you're going to talk about this, so please, I hope I don't ruin it. But the ban on legacy admissions.
Yeah, I was going to save that till next week because I didn't know that you were going to be here tonight. I thought maybe you had class or something. So
I know I'm gonna try to always be here. We are in class all the time.
Hi.
With my camera's off, my captions are on. I'm glad that they recorded. But yeah, I was talking about that with Cameron, and we have just lots of thoughts. So I hope somebody does the story on it because I think that for California to do that, I think is also very monumental.
Yeah, it is big. And my cousin, her son is a graduate of Long Beach State because they were starting that in the wake of the parents buying their kids' way into the schools. And he's still a rocket scientist, but from Long Beach as opposed to USC. So it's okay. Let's move to entertainment. Yesterday it was announced that John Amos died on August 21st, and the death was announced on October 1st. Myra, you shared in our text chain a picture of you. It looked like the cruise. It looked like you were on a panel on the cruise.
That was actually the Tom Joyner family reunion.
It was family reunion. Okay, and you were sitting next to Mr. John Amos.
Yes, I had the pleasure of interviewing the people, the cast from Good Times, and Mr. Amos was very, very principled man, very, very strong, and so many of us grew up like that's our TV dad. Right. He was that strong Black father figure who could be funny, but when he said, "JJ, get in here," JJ was going to straighten up.
Right.
And so were we at home. We were going to sitting up just a little bit more because James said so. And so it was such a pleasure. He shared, I don't remember the details, but how he ended up no longer being on Good Times, but he went into the office and he wasn't happy with where his character was going. And he said a few choice words. And he actually shared, he said, when I look back, I probably could have chose some other words. But...
yeah. I can fill in some of the blanks. He went in there. It was more he was unhappy with JJ becoming the focal point because not necessarily star. It's sort of funny. That was the word that came to my mind. I was like, no, it was more of a focal point because he liked having a Black son, but the fact that dynamite and they kept putting dynamite in the script and took away from the challenges the family were having and became much more of he became a step and fetch it like character to some. And the lack of balance in the JJ character is what made John Amos go into the office with Norman Lear and really stayed his mind. So the fact that he stood up and lost his job over it is I'm glad you brought that up, Myra, because that's a very important part of television history.
It really was, and we don't talk about it enough. I mean, even when I've interviewed Norman Lear when he wrote his book, and we kind of danced around it, but didn't really talk about it. But he said, I went in and I said, I'm really unhappy, and they said, take some time or something on that effect, and we'll write around you. And then he said, and I felt, some kind of way about that, but he said, but then they killed me off, and it's like, well, damn. So much for the strong Black man in the TV show.
Yeah. No, he was very, very passionate. So much so because I remember we were in one of the major ballrooms, and it's a lot going on. You got vendors over here and some stuff over here, and one point he said, y'all need to be quiet because what I'm saying is important. And when I tell you a hush came over that ballroom,
That's beautiful.
I laid my microphone down like,
Yes, sir.
Listen to
To
the
Daddy,
man here.
to Mr. Evans. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is the craziest thing about the end of his life. The death certificate was made public today and revealed the cause of his death was congestive heart failure. He was cremated more than a month ago. He died on August 21st. They said he was cremated 9 days later on August 30th, fueling speculation that the family feud was raging at the time that he died between his son and his daughter. His daughter said she found out about his death when the rest of us did yesterday.
Which
And
is so sad.
yeah, and his son, put out the alert that his dad had died and said August 21st, and she said that was even greater hurt to her heart. But there's obviously bad blood between them, and I don't know if his death will bring the end of that. But may you rest in peace, sir.
Because deaths always bring the end to bad blood when there's money and assets involved.
I wish that was true.
Of course. All right.
So let us close out with Jewel.
Wait, one more thing. I just want to put it. Dag Nabatee's country. It's not been announced yet, but the word on the street is that after being snubbed by the CMAs and the People's Choice Awards for country, where she was 17 nominations and won nothing, Beyonce will be okay for the country music category in the Grammys. Dag Nabbit, she's country.
All right.
So
Thank
this will
you
be
for
announced.
sharing that.
You heard it here first.
Couple days after this, it'll probably be official, but that is the thing.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very, very good. Let's move to Yogi's Jewel. Gratitude fuels joy. Appreciating small things brings more joy. It depends on what you're talking about. So let's inhale joy and exhale anguish.
Wait, I'm sorry. What do we inhale?
Inhaling joy
Joy.
and exhaling anguish.
So you inhale.
And appreciating the smaller things in life because small things need love too.
Wow.
All small things.
Wow.
I have
Wow.
Bye.
You have what?
Bye, Kwyn. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Go appreciate the small things.